Hey guys, Avery here with Skip's Tactical Solutions, and I'm here with another episode of Talk to Me Thursday. So I hope that you all are having a great day. And the topic for tonight is things to consider when you are selecting a firearms instructor. So I reached out to my Instagram and my Facebook family and got some input from them, but I would absolutely love for you guys to provide input as well. And I would also like for you to share this video with someone. So you can share it on your Facebook, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, text message, whatever it may be. But I would really appreciate it if you guys would share this video. Something else for tonight, I just want to let you guys know that I'm a bit under the weather. I've had a cold this week, so my voice is a little bit out of there. So we will start this week off with the winner from last week's giveaway. So last week we were giving away some swag again, and the winner of that is Chris from MD. Let me make sure that was his name. Yeah, Chris from MD. So please send me a message so that we can get this shipped out to you, and make sure that you send us your address. And if you didn't win, that is okay. But I do want to let you guys know that there were only, I think only 2 people actually entered for that giveaway. So at the end of this video, you guys will also have a chance to win. And all you have to do is wait until the video is over, and then you just comment down below in the comment section, not the comment section of the live, but the actual video. You comment and you're going to comment giveaway. But how is everyone doing? Hey, Belty Cat, how are you? Two Gun Kitty, hello, thank you for joining. Alton Clark, Yarn Dragons, thank you so much for being here tonight. And Rodney and Marv, hello guys. And Demont. Something else that we're going to talk about tonight is hurricane prep. So if you don't know, I do live in Tampa, Florida, and we are supposed to have a visitor probably within the next couple days. So we have been doing some hurricane prep. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And if there's anything else that you guys would like to talk about, we're going to talk about that too. Italian 556, hello, how are you? And midway during this video, we will be doing a giveaway. The giveaway winner from like 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago, never claimed, so we will be giving that away as well. But, so what do you guys want to talk about first? Let's talk about things to consider when you are selecting a firearms instructor. I would like for you guys to share some of the things that you took into consideration. If you've ever taken any type of professional classes, what are some of the things that you took into consideration when you were just thinking about who you were going to choose, how you were going to select your instructor? And the reason why I decided to talk about this tonight is because, to be honest, you just don't know what you don't know, right? So if you have no idea about any of the certifications that instructors should have, if you don't have any idea of the type of training you may need, then you just really need to hear it from people who have experienced it before, or people or people that just know what they're talking about. Let's see. All right, so Yarn Dragon said, reputation and how they talk to me. That is very, very important. Word of mouth is a huge way that people find their instructors. And I like referrals. Referrals are like the hugest compliment. And I tell people who take my classes, you know, that's the biggest compliment that you could give me, is referring someone else to take a class with me, because that means that you enjoyed it so much that you're willing to pretty much put your word out there that I'm good. So I do appreciate that. And she also said how they talk to me. That is really good. Some people don't really think about the way that they're treated. Some people really, really think about it, and some people are just like, oh, that's how such and such is. If they don't treat you well, then they don't deserve your business. Thank you so much, Young Dragons. Italian 556 said, have you ever done long range rifle shooting, or are you strictly tactical shorter range? So I've done long range and I do have experience in that, but there's nowhere in my area that I can really successfully do that. So I don't do that right now. D-Mont said how many followers they have. JK. Big Homie said, I just love your Instagram and YouTube. Thank you. D-Mont said, I need to see testimonials from previous students, how long they have been in the industry. All right, so let's talk about this really quick. So D-Mont said testimonials. So I already kind of mentioned that. They're really big. And if you are in really any sort of business, you should be getting testimonials from students. I don't do as good of a job in doing that, but you should have the students really talk about how they transform by taking your class, or the way that you made them feel. Because I know for me, I do have a lot of people who I guess are just comforted by the way that I make them feel. And what else did you say? Credentials. Credentials are huge. Depending on, oh no, let's go back to D-Mont. How long they've been in the industry. So I agree with that as well. And how long they've been in the industry will definitely say a lot about them. But it also, and someone else kind of talked about this on Instagram today. He said, let me see exactly what he said. So if they are newer to the industry, right? So I want to get your guys' perception on this. If they're newer to the industry, then they may not have that established reputation, right? And I'm wondering how do you really feel about giving people who are newer to the industry a chance? Because everybody has to start from somewhere. So how do you guys feel about giving new people a chance to actually prove themselves, essentially? Sorry, guys. I'm gonna try to not sniffle in your ear all night. So when it comes to being newer to the industry, I definitely felt that when I introduced myself to the firearms community, because my background was military. So the whole two-way firearms community, they didn't really know who I was. So to them, I was new, but I wasn't really new to the game because I have been teaching for a while. So definitely giving people a chance to prove themselves. But even if someone is new, then some sort of testimonial or just filling an instructor out. And I talk to all of my students on the phone before they take a class with me. And that really kind of helps us to establish that rapport. And that's another reason why I try to do as much stuff as I can on social media. And I try to do things kind of like here on YouTube, where I try to give away free content so that people can see my style. Let's see what else. Reputation, credentials, reviews, and feel from talking with them, Two Gun Kitty said. And when we talk about credentials, it could be, are they just a pistol instructor? Did they get their credentials from the NRA? Did they get it from USCCA? And if they did, how long ago was it? And is their certification expired? those are the types of things that I try to look at as well. And someone else just said, Tugan Kitty also said, how do you feel about law enforcement or X as instructors? How do you guys feel about that? So I feel like that is good. You want people who actually have experience to be teaching, because I have seen, and don't kill me for this, guys, I'm just being honest, but I've seen where people like to shoot, and so they're like, I just want to become an instructor. And although I do think we need more instructors out there, I do feel like it's an art. Like, just because you like to shoot doesn't mean that you can teach other people how to shoot. So a lot of people who have military experience or they have law enforcement experience, they have a lot of experience with guns and training and those types of things. So a lot of the times they are the ones who are doing more of the instructing, because they do have that experience. Tugan Kitty said, I'm taking a defensive handgun class next week. It's through my range and reputable instructors. Have fun. Demont said, I'm not spending $200 to $300 for a course to fill someone out. Yeah, that is a lot of money. But something else that I would like to say is, do not think that everyone who has law enforcement experience or military experience is going to be certified to teach you something just because they do have that experience, because not everybody has a lot of range time or trigger time or knows a lot of things about firearms, because they just don't. So don't feel like, oh, this person was in the Army. That really means nothing. All right, guys. So I hear that a lot, and I don't really agree with that. Demont, yes. Demont said, not everyone in law or military can shoot. Facts. Let's see what else. Okay, so you guys have brought up some really good points, and these were the things that I was going to bring up. I just want to go over this because I feel like it's really, really important. And there was a story here recently where the instructor shot his student, and and it's just sad. But you also want to get the background on your instructor before you take a class with them. But another thing is, so this was 5 days ago, and it was in California. Concealed weapons student was shot by his instructor. So another point here is going to be, make sure that you are following your range safety rules or just your firearm safety rules at all times. No one is exempt from that. Every single time I touch a firearm, I treat it as if it's loaded and I clear it out every single time. And it's just a habit. And that one time where you slip with your judgment, right, could be that one time where you have a really bad accident. And for this guy, that was a time where he actually shot someone. So I wanted to talk about this tonight because it's very, very important. And I want to make sure everybody who has money works really, really hard for their money. And I don't want you to waste your money. I want you to go to an instructor who is not only certified, but they're good and they're passionate about what they do. And I don't know if any of you have ever taken a course before, and it's like someone's forcing them to do it, and you're like, okay, like, you probably shouldn't have came to work today because you seem like you're pretty pissed off. Two Gun Kitty said, at Law Shield seminar, the train or speaking was also a trainer, and he pointed out how wording can make a person sound like they have credentials, but just a play on words and mean nothing. Yes. And I tell people, if you want to see your instructor's credentials, it is a-okay for you to ask to see them. It is okay, because if I am out here saying, although I'm not, if I were out here saying that I'm certified through such and such, right? But you saw on my website the last time I took that course was like 10 years ago, you're like, are you still certified on that? Because if you know anything about certifications, then you should need to get recertified on something to make sure that you're still good with that, whatever it is. But I've seen a lot of iffy things out there. And then another thing is, depending on where you are located, for instance, if the instructor's teaching a rifle class, and if it's just or whatever class really, but for this example, we'll say rifle. If for that state, there's really no requirements to teach that class, that instructor can say, oh, so I am a certified rifle instructor. And you're like, okay, well, how did you get your rifle certification? And they're like, oh, well, yeah. So you can absolutely ask to see it. And anyone who is a professional, they should really have some of these things out front so that you don't have to ask for them. And I want to say on my website, all of my stuff is on my About Me page so that they can go on there and they can see the certifications that I have. And if someone wants to request to see a certificate, that's fine with me. Through the NRA, you can go onto their website. You can actually see if these people who say they're certified are certified through the NRA. So that is also another way for you to look things up. When it comes to looking for an instructor, it can be a very, very hard task. And you are making a decision that is pretty much helping you with a skill to save your life. So you don't want to just go with something that you may not be comfortable with. You also want to go with an instructor that makes you feel good. All right. If the instructor doesn't make you feel good, then you probably should not take that class. And when I say feel good, I'm not talking about they're babying you, but customer service is everything. And if the customer service is not there, then no ma'am, no sir, do not take that class. Let's see what else. You also want to know what kind of courses that you want to take. I do have people who reach out to me and they're like, this is what I want to do. I don't know what I need to take. So I'm willing to walk them through that process. I would recommend that you take this class first and then you take this class second. Or actually, before you take that class, you probably should brush up on this. And that's just my recommendation. Do people always follow it? Absolutely not. But I do recommend for them to do that, all right? So you can reach out and ask, but if you already know, you may want to just compare some of the classes. And classes should have descriptions so that you'll know what that class is going to provide and just what you can expect from that class. And if you're looking at that and then you can compare it to another one, you can say, okay, I really like what this class offers, but I wish this class offered that. You can even reach out to the instructor and say, hey, do you offer this? Because it may be something that they just don't have on their website, but they actually do offer it. And another thing, and I kind of brought it up earlier, was so teaching is definitely an art. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody should do it. But if someone just received a certification, let's say, if someone's new, then they should definitely try to teach over and over before they like completely just jump in there and try to teach a whole class, because it can be very overwhelming and it's not something that you're good at the first time that you do it. I will absolutely tell you, like my first few months of me teaching, I was scared. I wasn't really good at speaking. I tried to avoid speaking whenever I had to. In my very first class, I really wish that everyone would have turned around and looked at the back of the room instead of looking at me. But that wasn't an option. So I just had to teach the class. And every single class that I taught, I just picked up on different skills and I got better and I got better. Am I saying I'm the best? I'm absolutely not the best. I have completely changed my style over the past almost 11 years, and I've kind of grown into the instructor that I want to be. But what I also tell you is if you're an instructor, then it is very, very important for you to learn from other instructors. And as a military instructor, I've learned from a lot of different instructors. And it's also a requirement for us to watch other instructors instruct. And we get to critique each other, and we also just get to pick up different things. Like there was a couple of instructors that I sat in their class and I'm like, I'm about to steal that joke and I'm gonna make it my own. Or, okay, I like the way that they explain this, I'm gonna explain it that way as well. There are also other instructors that I was like, I'm never doing that in my class. Or, side note, yeah, don't ever do that. So you can learn good and you can also learn bad and try not to make those same mistakes that other people have made. So it can definitely benefit you to learn from other people, and just always try to be a student because you can learn something from every single person that you encounter. Granted, it may be something that you don't want to do. It's like, okay, I'm never going to do that. But it could also be something like I said before. I like the way that they said that. I'm going to incorporate that into my teaching as well. Or different training aids that they have. You can go, okay, well, where did you get that from? Because I really like that and I want to implement that in my class. Um, Thanks for joining too. Again, Kitty, if you're still here. Leah, hello. Thank you for joining. And Demont said, I agree, it's hard, period. Yes. And just learning how to teach is hard. Learning how to like teach different people is just a skill. You will not know how to get your message out to everyone. There's certain people that I have to really break things down to. There's certain people that I just have to change my style with, and I'm fine with that. Not everybody likes my whack jokes, and that's fine. I'm gonna still tell them. Just kidding. So if the jokes are not what's up, you probably need to stop doing it so you don't lose your class. But as a student, you're paying for it. If they are doing things that you like, good. If they're doing things that you don't like, just let them know that you don't like it, and they can only respect that and go from there. But feel free to talk about the training that they've had. I have no problem telling my students what type of training I've had and even recommend training to them as well. And then when it comes to shooting, find out their shooting experience as well, because someone could have been a teacher but not really a shooter. So if you want to brush up on your shooting skills and they're not that good of a shooter, then that's something that you should probably know as well. And everybody just has a different learning style. I like to incorporate PowerPoints. I like to incorporate hands-on, and I want to make sure that my students are present. I don't want anyone on their phone, because whether they paid for the class or not, they're there for a reason and they need to be picking up everything that I'm putting down. But if you're teaching a child, you probably wouldn't teach the child the same way that you would teach the adult. And then if someone is a very visual learner, then you wouldn't teach them the same way you would teach someone who's very auditory. And I've had a couple, so when I teach my classes, especially my conceal class, I don't do videos, because I'm gonna be honest with you, you can watch all the YouTube videos you wanna watch at your house. You can hear all the war stories at your house. So I don't do that in my classes, because I've seen where instructors will literally take a seat, like in a real chair, and sit in front of their class and tell stories. And that's not what people pay me for, and that's not what I'm there to teach. I'm there to teach facts and give them and deliver the material to them in the manner that they need. So that's really important too. If you went to a concealed class and all y'all did was watch videos and listen to war stories, you might want to take another class. But another thing is, I was just talking to someone about this today, is what type of style is it going to be? So I do very small groups when I teach, And I notice here there's a lot of people who take their concealed class at the gun shows. And that crowd is probably like 30 to 100 people in one room and one person speaking. And I don't really feel like that's an effective learning environment for a lot of people. And that's something that you should probably consider. If that's the type of environment that you're going to be in, then I know for me, I like to ask questions. And if I can't really ask questions because there's like 70 other people in the class, and sometimes you really don't feel comfortable asking those questions in front of other people. So I don't really feel like that's a comfortable environment for a lot of people. And then let's talk about the fact of male versus female instructors. Sometimes people just want a female instructor, and that's fine. Sometimes people want a male instructor, that's fine. But you should also go off of their credentials as well when you're doing that. Because I've had people say, oh, well, I want that male to teach me. And they've been talking to me, and I'm like, that male isn't even an instructor, and they rather take the class with the male than to take it with me. So that's fine with me. They just won't be able to sit in my bomb class. So you have to think about things like that too. Is if you would prefer a male over female, why? And that's absolutely fine if you would, but some prefer one sex over the other, and that's completely okay. But sometimes women just feel more comfortable with an instructor that looks like them, and they may not judge them as much. And a lot of the times, if there are male students, they kind of throw their egos in there as well. But you want to know how you learn and make sure that that instructor can teach that way, because that's very important. Because if you are only a visual learner but the teacher speaks off just no kind of PowerPoint and they're just up there speaking the entire time, that may not be the best environment for you, because you may not really learn as much. Do you guys have anything that you want to add to that? And then there's something else that I wanted to add. I want to go off of some of the things that people sent me today. And then now I can't find it. Reputation was definitely something that I got a lot today. And reputation is just going to go off like the way that you treat people. If you don't have a good rep, you probably need to take a good look and see why you don't have a good reputation. And that's always something that you can work on. But as an instructor, like, your rep is everything, because if people are not recommending you, then you probably want to know why they're not recommending you to other people. And let's see. Man, I'm tripping because I can't find. Let me go and see what this other one said. How was your guys' day? So another thing that was mentioned, and I'm not sure if he's on the live right now, but someone talked about how when they're in the class that their instructor doesn't really allow them to kind of have a say in the discussion. I like to do a lot of open dialogue. If you have questions, ask your questions. If you have feedback, feel free to interject and say what you think about this or how you feel, because sometimes when someone says something in a different way, then someone lets it click and they're like, oh, that's what you meant. So I have no problem with someone else in the class being able to talk, being able to give their opinion or talk about whatever. But I guess the problem lies there when people try to hijack your class, and I've actually had people tell me that they could teach my class better than me, and I think that's where the problem comes in. So if you have